Hi everybody. I hope this works okay. I finally remembered to turn on my autofocus, so it should be working out okay, and you should be able to see it. It says m to the fourth equals 21. We don't solve for for m. We want to know what is 3m to the fourth. So what you do is multiply by 3 and multiply by 3, and you get 3m to the fourth is equal to 63. Pretty easy problem. Number 22 says figures not drawn to scale, no big deal because y equals 2x. And if we add up all these x's, we get 360 degrees. That is 9, 11, 118x is equal to 360. Divide by 18, and we get x equal to 20. So B, I'm going to assume that that is correct. Let's take a look. We've got some parallel lines. K is parallel to L, which it looks like it is. It would be nice to know what, let's see. I would like to know this angle because I would also like to know this angle, and there's a good reason for that. This is called an exterior angle, and we know that these two angles are congruent, the whole thing. Well, this angle right here, the whole thing, is 125? No, 115. I want 180. Yeah, I want 125, sorry. 125 degrees for the whole thing. And that means this whole thing is 125, and if you add these two together, you get 125. So y plus 71 is equal to 125, so I'm just going to subtract 71 from that. That's 54 degrees, and it looks like we're done. I'm only going to put a check mark on that one because I want to look at it some more. The exterior angle is equal to the sum of the remote interior, but a good way to think about it is that y and 71 and this angle, which happens to be the 55, isn't it? Isn't this one the same as this one is the same as this one? That would have been even faster. 55, 71, and this makes 180. Anyway, there it is. All right, I've got a few more. Okay, it looks like we've got quite a list here. It says if x represents a non-negative number, okay, that a non-negative number means that x has to be greater than or equal to 0. If it said positive, then x couldn't be 0. Which of the following must be true? This is a really good question because when you take a half and you square it, it gets smaller. So this one is not necessarily true. Cubes are not necessarily bigger than these. X squared is always greater than 0 except when x is equal to 0. So 2 is not true. Not necessarily true because it says it must be true. This last one, x plus x squared plus x cubed has to be greater than or equal to 0, which is true. Absolutely. 3 must be true because it says it's non-negative, so it can't be negative, can't be negative, can't be negative, could be 0, but that has an equal sign on it, so 3 is possible, and it must be true. I'm going to go with that one. W equals V plus 2, and S equals 4V plus 5. Which of the following expresses S in terms of W? Well, what you have to do is put V equal to W minus 2. I just subtracted 2 from both sides. Hopefully that's clear. And then I'm just going to put this in here. So I have S equals 4 times W minus 2 plus 5. They're just testing to see if you know how to substitute and you know how to solve for a variable. You do have to distribute this, and you get 4W minus 8 plus 5 is 4W plus, minus 3. C is correct. I'm going to put 2 check marks on there, and the reason is I'd like to come back and show you another way to do this entirely different way, if we have time. Which of the following represents the difference when the sum of 5 and x divided by 3? Okay, the sum of 5 and x divided by 3 is subtracted from the sum. I'm going to take this from the sum of x and 2. Well, you have to distribute the negative, and you end up with x minus x over 3, which is 2x over 3. I'm going to take 2 minus the 5, and I'm going to get minus 3. Now, the problem is that, sorry guys, it's a little hard to see there. So I took x minus 1/3 x, gave me 2/3 x. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. I'm almost done. I just have to have a common denominator. My common denominator I have to multiply by 3, and I get 2x minus 9 over 3, or I get this. Let's see if that's there. This one is not there, but 2x minus 9 over 3 is. And again, it's a little tricky. The big problem here was that it was missing the common denominator. And being able to do that conversion, they put these on a lot of PSATs and SATs. All right, one more. 2 more, sorry. Michelle commutes to work at an average of 30 miles per hour and returns along the same route at an average of 15 miles per hour. If her total travel time is 3 hours, how many miles is her commute to work? This is a really tricky question because she's going to spend twice as long going back as she does going. So in other words, she's going to spend she's going to go 30 miles per hour for the first 1 hour to get to work. And it says that her total travel time is 3 hours. So she's going to spend twice as long coming back. She's going to spend the 2 hours coming back at 15 miles per hour. Really tricky question. This is 30 miles and this is 30 miles. How many miles is her commute to work? Well, it's 30 miles because she spends 30 miles per hour, 1 hour, 15 miles per hour for 2 hours. This is one of those where it's really helpful to know a little bit about how rates work, because setting this up in the algebra is going to mess you up. All right, last one. A jar contains only red, white, and blue gumballs. The probability of choosing a red at random from the jar is 1/3. So 1/3 of the gumballs are red. There are 3 times as many white as there are blue. So blue is 1 part, white is 3 parts. Which of the following could be the total number of gumballs in the jar? Really tricky kind of question. Could it be, the other thing you got to remember is that means that there are 4 parts of blue and white, and they have to add together and give you 1/3 for this guy over here. So if this adds together to be 4 parts, to get 1/3, you have to have 2 parts red. Hopefully this makes sense. It has to do with the fact that I want 1/3 of the gumballs inside of it to be red, and I have 4 parts for these two. What is the total number? Well, there has to be 6x gumballs. It has to be divisible by 6. There's no other way to go, because the only way to get 3 to 1 is to have 4 parts. It's a little bit like the pirate problem, but kind of in reverse. This is not divisible by 6, not divisible by 6, not divisible by 6, not divisible by 6. D is the only possibility. I know that there are 1/3 of these are red. 6 of them are red. That leaves me with 12 more. 12 more means that there are 12. 3 of these and 9 of these. There's 6 red, 3 times as many white. So this is white and this is blue. So there's 3 blue and 9 white. I know for sure this is correct. And I'm done. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Finished in under 10 minutes.